TheSocialShow.co.za.
Welcome to your daily dose of The Social Show. My name is Viwe Cholwana and I'm here with you from 9:30 till 10 a.m. We will be highlighting the very best initiatives, forums, projects in South Africa and abroad that are working to change our current living conditions, of course, without leaving out the corporates and the government and how they are facilitating these forums, projects and initiatives. We talk all things CSI and CSR and shared value on The Social Show, so you don't want to miss a thing. If you'd like to get in touch with me or have an opinion to share about our topic or the show, please do so on at brandlive.radio on Twitter or social1-tv on radio, or you can just go on our site on www.social-tv.co.za. I do think there's a lot of W's, by the way. It's just 3. Also, if you want to send me a mail of an initiative that you're starting, or you want some insight, or you want somebody to speak on it and give you a bit of help or a nudge, you can go to press at social-tv.co.za. Without missing a beat, let's get straight into our CSI headlines. Bakwena Platinum Corridor, Pink Drive and the Department of Health recently collaborated in educating more than 3,500 men, women and children about breast, testicular and prostate cancer in communities adjacent to the Platinum Highway in the Northwest Province. Charmaine van Veek, Public Relations Manager of Bakwena, says the campaign kicked off at Dinokana Community Health Center and in Zerast, and about 370 people were examined and educated about cancer. The team also conducted mammograms on 14 patients who were either older than 40 or had lumps identified. The second phase of the campaign took place in Groot Mariko Clinic in Zerast, where 359 patients were educated and examined, and another 14 mammograms were carried out. In addition, PSA examinations were conducted on at least 72 men. In other news, supporting play pumps since 2002, the ShopRite Group has funded the installation of 2 new play pumps at the Get Ahead project in Queenstown and Amakwati Primary School in Zolwana. A play pump is specifically designed merry-go-round that pumps water into a reservoir as the children play on it, providing a water supply to rural communities and providing children with a constructive way to use their energy. It also means community members are no longer having to walk long distances to fetch water, and there are fewer incidences of waterborne diseases which keep learners away from school, affecting their education. The ShopRite Group already supports about 34 play pumps which provide clean water to approximately over 400,000 people across South Africa daily. See, crazy day. Lastly, in our news, we've got Impact Plastics Pinetown, which has turned their focus to paper recycling for the good of the communities in which they operate. Whilst another plastics plant has placed their paper recycling bank at the manufacturing facility in September, South Africa's annual cleanup and recycling month, the Impact Pinetown plant has now followed their footsteps and are highlighting the need for everyone to protect the environment and recycle their waste. Impact Plastics Pinetown plant received their Impact Recycling Paper Bank early in October and launched an initiative to encourage their staff to participate by not only understanding the benefits of recycling but also depositing their home and office recyclable waste into this bin and thereby reducing waste to landfill. Impact Plastics Pinetown is now also contributing to Chalk House, as all monetary proceeds will be generated, which are going to be generated by the bin, will be allocated to this worthy cause. Besides, for this direct donation by Impact Plastics Pinetown, this divisional collaboration is also promoting the creation of employment by supporting owner-driver that collects the paper bank. And that concludes our stories for the day.
brandlive.co.za.
Have you ever thought about the power of social media? Social media has the power to make your business grow. Yeah. Why don't you let us manage your social media? Because our business is to see your business grow. Visit us at www.beastdownmedia.co.za.
grandlive.co.za.
According to a Gordon's Institute for Business Science report, which was released in 2015 and 2016 on entrepreneurship in South Africa, our entrepreneurial activity is improving but still lags behind in comparison with other parts of the world. In fact, the report claims that aspirant and existing entrepreneurs face huge challenges and frustrations in South Africa. The country's financial and operating environment is not supportive enough of entrepreneurs, particularly in terms of regulations, policies, as well as access to capital. And with unemployment levels on the rise in South Africa, and many young people face a bleak future, the more ambitious among them look to, starting their own businesses as a way of keeping their heads above water. For others, it's a matter of being your own boss, while some find a particular passion or dream that they really want to pursue. Whatever the force that drives entrepreneurs to get their ideas off the ground, the fact remains that there are still many who are soldiering on to overcome what they need to overcome and to get their ventures off the ground. And that is exactly what the show is going to be about today. It's going to be about accessing and understanding the entrepreneurship movement in South Africa, the entrepreneurship spirit. And I'm speaking to a guest who knows everything about this. In fact, he goes a little bit more, beyond that, because he goes into the township and finds, amazing entrepreneurs who he's trying to really empower. I'm talking about ICASI Entrepreneurship Movement, which is an NPO which is focused on developing township entrepreneurs through mentorship, training, and development, and access to resources, information, and market access. And there's so many ways in which you can become a part of this movement. But today I'm speaking to Elvis, who is the founder of ICASI Entrepreneur, and he'll be sharing his vision with us today. He's sharing his story and also hopefully inspiring young people to get into entrepreneurship. Doesn't matter where you're from, doesn't matter what kind of background you have, you can definitely start your own business. Thank you so much for being with us today, Elvis.
It's always a pleasure, Viwe. How are you?
I'm very good. Thank you so much. I know it's a bit early, but thank you so much for being on. So give us a brief background on who you are and where you're from.
The background about me or the company?
About you. Let's start off with you.
About me?
Yes, please.
Well, look, I grew up in a very rural village in Kamashishani in Limpopo. It's about 30 kilometers out of Polokwane city in Limpopo. And I think the biggest thing that I got to realize is that I got to be privileged.
Yes.
I went to the best high school, the best boarding school. I went to the best university. And I got exposed to quite a lot of things. So I think from there, that's when I realized that access to information and resources is one of the biggest things that a lot of people actually have a challenge with. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, so that's when I sat down and said, so what happened to the people that were not able to get the privileges and the networks and the opportunities that I was afforded? So I went to the University of Cape Town and studied economics and finance. Wow. And I think the whole element of studying as entrepreneurs come through economic development because I was more passionate within economic development when I was in my studies.
Okay.
I was in quite a lot of leadership positions when I was at university. I think that's where I actually harnessed my entrepreneurial flair. I was involved in the Black Management Forum.
Lovely.
I was elected as one of the global shapers of the World Economic Forum.
Yes.
So it's just one accomplishment after the other. But then it still remains to say that I'm the only one that actually has all this access to resources, information, social capital, and opportunities. What happens to the young people that are out there in different towns and different rural areas across South Africa?
Yes.
How do we now create a platform for them to succeed, especially looking at the high unemployment rate, especially among the youth in our township areas across South Africa?
That's lovely. And when did you realize that, you're going to break the mold and actually get into the entrepreneurship space with the ICASI Entrepreneurship Movement?
So I think the entrepreneurial flair actually kind of like developed within you. I mean, the projects that I ran in varsity within the Black Management Forum were entrepreneurial driven.
Okay.
I started Founders at Work after I left the University of Cape Town. But also, just to give you a background, even when I was in primary, I was selling sweets and stuff like that.
Oh, wow.
You know, those kind of boys that always selling seed and always have money.
Trying to make...
I was that kind of boy in primary.
Wow.
It grows within you. It grows within you from the young age. You never get to realize that actually you're quite entrepreneurial in the way you're thinking, the way you manage your money, and all those kind of elements.
Definitely.
But then when I started a company called Founders at Work, the idea was to connect entrepreneurs to opportunities.
Yes.
But then it became too cumbersome because, like, literally I would do it on one-on-one basis, and I realized that actually there's a better way to be able to do this because there's a lot of entrepreneurs out there that actually need this kind of service.
Definitely.
The service of having access to training and development, having access to mentors, having access to finance, having access to legal assistance, just having access to the resources that they may not have for them to run a business, especially if an entrepreneur just know one thing. If the person just know how to farm, you need to be able to support them and capacitate them in the best way for them to farm and be able to make sure that they get their produce to their market.
Yes.
So that's where I started as an entrepreneur. And the idea was that how do I take a conference that would normally happen at your Cape Town International Convention Center or your Central Convention Center, because that's where most of them happen, and take it into the township.
Yes.
And when I did that, I was only speaking about 100 people attending. I got about 400 people.
Wow.
And those people were township entrepreneurs as well as corporate and people from government.
Yes.
And after the conference, everyone looked up to me to say they're looking for solutions for me.
Wow.
From both township entrepreneurs and corporates in South Africa. So we had to create it as the model and register the company to make sure that we actually become more impactful to township entrepreneurs and rural entrepreneurs across South Africa.
Yes. So tell me more about Ikasi Entrepreneurship Movement, because I know that it's an NPO, which I think is quite interesting. When you think of entrepreneurship and you think of NPO, you don't really see that synergy a lot of the time. So I really want to know a little bit more about what it is that you actually do at Ikasi.
So think about it this way. So Ikasi Entrepreneurs is more of a broker. So we're the middleman.
Yes.
So we are the innovators. We realize that there's a lot of resources that corporate South Africa have. There's a lot of opportunities that government have, but there's also a lot of entrepreneurs that are in the township. And there's a bit of a mismatch between the township entrepreneurs and the resources that are out there.
Yes.
And it's a matter of how do you now link those two people? How do you link corporate South Africa with township entrepreneurs? So what we do is that we create platforms and activities that make sure that these resources are able to be divulged into the township entrepreneurs.
Yes.
So some of the things that I can just quickly list is that one, a lot of township entrepreneurs do not necessarily have your academic background. They didn't go to the universities. They didn't do your master's and your MBA studies.
Yes.
So we formed a partnership with the business schools where we starting a cash entrepreneurs academy where we're going to start training and developing township entrepreneurs. We're going to pilot it in Gauteng and then we're going to take it to the other provinces. But specifically on not to say you need to do marketing, you need to do this and this, but also as a leader, because as an entrepreneur, you're quite a leader in your own business. You're an owner. You go through a whole lot of personal things when you're in the township, but also be able to recognize the opportunities that are there in the area, because a lot of people just create businesses thinking that they'll find a market and then they never get to find a market. Yeah. You need to be able to look at what are the challenges that are in the township, what kind of business can you be able to create for you to be able to serve that specific market. So that is one element. That is the training and development, which is an academy.
Yes.
We're looking at mentorship, at this online mentorship. So even if you're in Mudanzani or Kailisha or Limpopo, you can be able to have access to a high-level mentor. So when we talk about mentorship, is that we have this project called Adopt and Ikasi Entrepreneurs. So as a pilot project, the master's students of the business school are going to be allocated a specific entrepreneur to be able to look at their business, analyze it, and be able to advise the entrepreneurs on how they can be able to go about running it. But because this is online, it's very important that we actually digitalize everything.
Yes.
Even the entrepreneurs that want the mentorship, they need to be able to put together their business plan online. And that's when we partnered with my SME tool. So a lot of township entrepreneurs don't have business plans. a lot of entrepreneurs in urban areas don't have business plans. So with my SME tools, it's easy for you to be able to actually develop your business plan online, where it asks you simple questions, and through answering those questions about your business, it kind of like it creates a business plan where you can be able to print it at a later stage.
Yeah.
It's a matter of saying, something that we can do in a classroom, how do we now scale it out to
more people,
to the other
to
other people, because we can't just only focus on 35 people or 100 people that can be in the classroom. It's looking at how can you use technology to be able to scale your project, to be able to make sure that you make an impact
definitely
in the rest of South Africa.
And that's the power of being in the digital space right now. And it's so important that, people from Ekasi who are, wanting to get into entrepreneur space are also open to looking at the digital space as a space to move and to work and to get money. What are the businesses that are coming out of the township currently that we may not know about, that may shock us, that you have experienced or seen and you're like, wow, this is amazing, and this is specifically for this market, for instance?
I think we need to, then this is what I always tell people. We need to get our mind out of that concept that township entrepreneurs is only tax shops and marketing and catering businesses. It's the same thinking that an American would think of when they think of Africa. They think that it's still made in heart and it's still hand with bow arrows and all those kind of things.
Yes.
I've met great township entrepreneurs. I'm just going to give you a couple of examples. One of the township entrepreneurs called Amagig. Amagig is an online ticketing sales platform. They're based in Soweto.
Wow.
And what they do is that they compete with the likes of CompuTickets and Web Tickets. So actually, the conference that we're having in February, March next year, we have our tickets at Amagig.
Wow.
And they're doing quite well, and they're quite professional in the things that they do.
Lovely.
And we need to be able to understand and know what a township entrepreneur is not only, like I was saying, it's not about only the tax shops and the catering business that we see. And even the young people out there in the townships, when they go into entrepreneurship, they need to look at what are the gaps in the market that they can be able to go into. They should not go into businesses that are actually just general or like that are average.
Or stereotypes.
The other business that I will give you, so I'm going to give you two more.
Okay.
The other one is Sipsum Africa. So Sipsum Africa is a lady who started last year, and she produces natural ginger beer and also chakalaka.
Yes.
But then they're all healthy products. So she uses all her products because she uses organic farmers to be able to produce all these things. They don't have preservatives, and they're doing fantastically well.
Yes.
And this is more agro-processing in a bigger scheme of things. To say,
actually
how do you work with farmers in the township to produce products? Because we need to get to a point where we actually produce things as opposed to reselling.
Yes, I completely agree with you. And who have been your biggest supporters from corporate South Africa that you can sort of mention that have, or even corporate South Africa, perhaps from a governmental perspective as well, who have made, Ekasi entrepreneurship movement what it is today?
Sorry, please repeat that.
I was saying, who have been your biggest supporters from a financial perspective? Because I know funding is one of the issues that a lot of entrepreneurs, face. But also,
funding is an issue for a lot of funding is an issue for a lot of NPCs and MPOs.
Yes.
And also even for the township entrepreneurs. I think our biggest supporters have been the National Youth Development Agency. I think in life you need to just have that one first mover, that someone that follow you, and then will attract a lot of people. And additionally, some of the other businesses have been the SAB Entrepreneurship.
Yes.
It has been the Verse Business School. It has been actually currently we're in partnership with ATA, where we're doing business clinics on how can entrepreneurs actually be able to run and develop their businesses digitally and be able to be supported.
Yes.
And we're doing this business clinics every Tuesday in Braamfontein at the Simolorong
Precinct, yes.
And what is currently happening is that we're actually supplying transportation from about 11 selected townships in Gauteng on those Tuesdays for them to come through for the business clinics, and then we do the workshop, we do have lunch, and then we transport them back for those that do not have the transportation to be able to come through.
Wow.
They can be able to find all this information online on our social media.
Definitely.
And then be able to
find out how they can get to the transportation. Thank you so much for your time, Elvis. I think you're doing such a great job, and I think it's very important that we commend you and we say, carry on. And I really do hope that everyone who's listening, all the CSI managers, everybody who has heard this amazing initiative, which is about developing and making sure that entrepreneurship in Nkasi is not just one-sided, that we see all of the different elements, but we also try and back them and help in whatever way. Can you just give us those platforms one more time so that people, if they are trying to get a hold of you right now, they can?
Okay. So there are numerous platforms for you to be able to get hold of me. You can go to the website, which is www.ekasientrepreneur.co.za. That is Ekasi Entrepreneur without an S at the end.
Okay.
And people can be able to call me or WhatsApp me on my mobile number, which is 081 349 9110. That is 081 349 9110. And people can email me. I mean, the email is access, that is ACCESS, access@ekasientrepreneur.co.za. Or they can find us on Twitter and Facebook, which is Ekasi Entrepreneurs. If they search Ekasi Entrepreneurs, they'll find us.
Perfect.
And then they can be able to engage us on social media.
Thank you.
They can be able to find all the
information
that we're running.
Lovely. Thank you so much. We'll also put it up on our Instagram pages if in case you missed out on what Elvis has just said. Thank you so much for your time, Elvis. It's been amazing.
It's always a pleasure, viewer.
Thank you. That was Elvis, who is the founder of Ekasi Entrepreneurship Movement, and talking so amazingly about the different businesses coming out of the township, talking about how to break the mold, talking about his own experiences, which I think are very important to really understand before we actually get into why he got into the movement that he's in. Because you always want to know the story of the entrepreneur, because they're all different and they all have so many learning curves. We're just going to take a little bit break before we end off the show.
brandlive.co.za. Making a bold statement yet blending into the surrounding suburbs of Melville, 27 Boxes is a realization of edgy design and practical implementation. A radical departure from the shopping malls of our generation, yet not a return to the high streets of our youth. 27 Boxes showcases the best of a shopping centre set in a garden, surrounded by the bohemian suburb that is Melville. 27 Boxes. Shop, play, eat.
Well, whenever you hear that music, now you will know that we're going to be talking about things to remember, which is a new segment on The Social Show. This is my favorite part of the show because it just is that last kick that you really hopes to keep you inspired and ready to challenge and change your circumstance or environment, or just simply learn something new or do something new. And today I've got a short clip that hopefully will give you something to think about in the day, something to remember. Let's hit it.
We do song for song. You sing one, then I sing one, yeah? We'll be loving you till we're 70.
It's been over 3 years since the outbreak of Ebola killed over 11,000 people in West Africa. When Ebola hit, what was it like?
My father was sick. They fermenting, toileting. They came to the Ebola center. The next morning, they bring it here and saying time.
When was the last time you went to school?
But saying that when they Ebola time, I can't go to school. My mama get money. Sing this song. So I remember my dad.
What's up, Peaches?
So don't why
And if you don't know who was on that clip, that was Ed Sheeran, who recently went to Libya to just find out what the effects of Ebola was. And he got to meet a few children and got to speak to them. And I just really wanted to play that clip because it touched me so much. And it was the first time I really saw a celebrity really go to a space and really understand the severity of the problem. And he was there, of course, for Red Nose Day. If you want to know a bit more about the clip, you can find it online. But I just wanted to play it for you guys just to remember there's so much going on in the world. There's so many things you can help with. There's so much that you can get involved in from a volunteer perspective, from a donation perspective, from just a skills and upskilling perspective. And I hope that it's something that you remember for the day. Anyway, that wraps up our show for today. Social TV is so happy to be the only CSI and CSR platform in Southern Africa, and we will be back again tomorrow, same time, same place, only on The Social Show.
Guess who got brands talking? Brandlive.co.za